Alright guys, I'm coming at you from East Berlin, Germany, right across the street from the Berlin Wall. I'm gonna try and do a number of videos where I describe the Berlin Wall and the history around it, what happened, why it happened, and just give you a full storyline about it. I don't know anything about it right now, so I'm coming in totally blind to it, and I'm gonna have to learn about it as I go. So I arrived here, don't know anything about it. This is the first time in my life I've seen it, and now I have to just get all the information about it and then generate the storyline about it and then produce it and throw it out to you guys. So there are a lot of bits and pieces to it, right? Like everything. I mean, what's the history behind it, and how tall is the wall, and what are the stories of people trying to go from the east to the west, and what's all the context that surrounds the Berlin Wall. I have no idea, and I'm sure some of you guys at home, if you're big fans of history or if you're German, you know more about it than I. And if you do, feel free to jump in the comments and add context to help other people understand what it was all about, because I'm a novice at this, and the more info you guys throw to each other, the more you'll learn and the more fun it'll be. I mean, why not, right? So with that, let's just take a really quick look at this side, and then in subsequent videos I'll pump out more informative. So this will just be a full-blown visual beginning tour of this side of the Berlin Wall. What I think I'll do is I'll start to understand the messaging behind some of these, maybe not all of them, but at least pull the storyline out of, you know, something like this. See all these people, looks like they're like locked in. And then this is, that's painting, but it looks real. And there's so much to it. Let me just talk, actually, that'd be better. It's a big artist spot, obviously, and this wall is like a huge canvas for people to do art on. And art is usually emotional or political. People create art about something, and so all of these things you see most likely have some meaning that's near and dear to the artist's heart. And they're communicating that feeling or that thought or that idea or that concept out to the world just via their paintbrush in a very, very public space.
I'll just take us to the end. Why not?
I'm guessing the wall's maybe 12 feet high. And I was reading just a few minutes before I rolled tape on here. I was reading a little info about this East Side Gallery and this kind of what it was like, and here's how they described it: that when they first started the wall, that it wasn't a wall, it was just kind of random material that people put together to prevent movement from the east to the west, and then it eventually became this massive wall and barrier to movement. Essentially, that's what a wall is, right? It's a barrier to movement. So these people, right, like if you lived here in East Berlin, you were trapped, you were encircled by this restrictive measure, which is a wall, and there was no getting out unless you tried to attempt escape, which I think many did. Some succeeded, others failed miserably and died or were killed because of their efforts. And then one day it all came down. So can you imagine if you grew up with the wall? Well, actually, can you imagine if you grew up without the wall and then you saw the entire construction of it, and then you lived within its confines, and you heard all the stories and about the attempts to leave, and you went through all the political experiences, and then one day it all changes and it's no longer, it just gets torn down. Suddenly you can just go across that river, go into West Germany, do what you want. Whereas for 28 years, something like that, you're totally restricted. It's unbelievable. It's just a wild, totally fucked up history. And this is the River Oder. Oh, sorry, this is a river. I don't know the name of it, and that's West Germany. And what I was reading before is this section right here. That was the inner wall. Then there's this other wall here where you can see, I'm trying to point to it, right over there. So there's two walls, and then there's a patrol road, and then there's this, they said raked sand with lights. I guess if you were to run across it, you would move the lights and the guards would be aware that you're trying to get across. And then there's another wall right here, 3 meters high, they said, and there'd be guard towers every, I think, 600 meters or so. So definitely challenging to overcome all that. And of course you've got all the guards watching all the time. So what a brutal history.